I don't know what's worse. You soldiers under orders to silence the facility, or these vile aliens. Oh no. You're one of them.
Just don't forget about us out there, alrighty?
I guess you're a good guy, Corporal.
Okay, wow. I just want to say quickly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for all the support and the comments. Which, yeah, I've been reading all of them. Alright, the premise here is simple. You play as Adrian Shepard, a member of the United States military, specifically the Hazardous Environments Combat Unit, the HECU. These are the Marines who were sent into Black Mesa during the original Half-Life. For months, you and the boys have been having specific, intense training for close quarters combat within an underground facility.
As you can see, you are not dead.
Within the past week, you've been told to stay on high alert and that you may be deployed any day. Then finally, that day came when the resonance cascade occurred. As your platoon is making its way to the facility, you get ambushed, and you almost get killed. Until you're rescued and saved by a scientist. Then, after a few hours, you gain consciousness, and you realize you've been left behind, completely cut off from your brothers in arms. Your only task now is to try to make contact with the chain of command. In this video, I will not show how many zombies there are exactly. It would completely clutter the chapter deaths. For in this game, there are now zombie security officers and zombie marines. And this swole guy. Damn, he's kind of been hitting the gym though. The obvious question is, why aren't they seen in Half-Life 2? Well, seeing how much of an issue the biotics are for the Combine,
oh fuck!
When they'd have this as a bioweapon, I imagine they'd genetically tamper with the Gonarch meme, so that when they'd use headcrabs as a bioweapon, they won't grow armor, or gigantic, or perhaps create a rival headcrab queen. You know, some real AVP shit. The rules here are exactly the same, although I'll mention now, there aren't as many people we can save in this game, but that's because the time opposing force starts, it's at the end of the Black Mesa incident, while Gordon was in the thick of it from the start. Now, first off, make sure the HD models are turned off. Comparing Gearbox's creative models to the mint Valve ones is no competition. Once you've done that, set the game to hard and get in there. Within this chapter, there are 17 casualties, all of them being Marines. You never actually get your orders to take out the Black Mesa personnel. In fact, you didn't even know that aliens existed until about 20 seconds ago. However, this is important. If you're quick enough, run through here and grab the MP5 from this guy. Or hang left, then hug this dude, and if you're lucky, you'll grab his shotty. Which for this run, yeah, we're going for the shotty. Within this chapter, there are 17 casualties, 8 survivors, and 1 man you can save. Breaking it down, there are 12 Marines, 3 scientists, and 2 security officers. For survivors, there is 1 Marine, 5 scientists, and 2 security personnel. And finally, there is 1 security officer you can save. You get saved by none other than Dr. Kuma.
Hey, Mr. Coomer.
Ah, hello, Gordon.
Speaking of, I just love this area. It's a Black Mesa stronghold. It's so fortified that the military hasn't even managed to reach it. I will say this is cause for concern. They do seem dead though. You can't kill the head grab. Don't worry about it. What's great about this area is that there is more here than what we see. There is absolutely more scientists and survivors around here. Now the first person you can save in this run is here. This dude with his yee-ass suit. However, remember that gun we grabbed in the beginning? The moment the game starts, the CPR meme in front of you hasn't begun. Now if you want both guns at the start, you can actually shoot the soldier. It won't really change any animations, you just get the MP5. However, if you shoot the scientist instead, you'll save the soldier? Now here's something interesting. In this game, the Marines will kill the Black Mesa personnel because Half-Life. If you get the Marine to follow, he will break this glass instantly. Just simply run in and shoot the zombie. Nice. As you may have noticed, there's a huge issue here. You have to kill the very scientist who saved your life just to save this other guy. I did notice you can make him repeat his animation by quick saving and loading, but from the testing I've done, there's no way in practice to save him without sacrificing the life of another. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to leave him to his fate. Make sure to contain this threat to ensure everyone's survival. And if you can't quite get the gun from the beginning, don't fret. Once you leave, you can block the door with this chair, jump through, grab the wrench, and then deal with the zombie that way. And when you move forward, the first person you can meaningfully save is this guy. And honestly, I've got no idea how he got there, but he'll try to climb out. Now this is the area where the trigger starts. You can't naturally jump over it, but through testing you can grenade jump, but you don't get grenades until much later. However, I've discovered a shockingly easy method. If you get one of these wall crabs to follow you, lead him to this box. Get him to leap at you, then hop on it, and time it just right as you're jumping and you'll get a boost onto the box. Simply jump over here and you've made it. Turn off the power, push him out, and make sure he follows you here. It's far away where he won't go back. Simply cross through and he's good. He won't really move anymore, but it doesn't matter, he's on the surface. And this is around the time of surface tension, so you should be good. Just leave the medkits around here and move on. Within this chapter, there are 7 casualties, 13 survivors and 1 person you can save. Breaking it down, among the casualties, there is 1 Marine, 2 scientists and 4 security officers. And for survivors, there are 10 Marines, 2 scientists and 1 security officer. And the 1 person you can save is a scientist. While you're on the tram ride, as you come up here, a scientist bro is running through and he will be killed if you do nothing. You have to be quick and accurate. Deal with this Vorty, then shoot the next one here first. He'll shoot the scientist instead of you sometimes. That's all we can do for old mate. And just to play it safe here, the next Vorty here will be invulnerable when he starts moving, so just make sure he doesn't. At the next part, we run into the one and only Otis. The actual Otis. I do not consider this man saved, for he saves himself. He will rip and tear through literally everything here all by himself. He honestly doesn't need any help. Just look at that reaction time and the accuracy.
Right, I got another one.
The painful part. Here, no matter what weapon you have, you cannot break the glass. I tried using head crabs, dogs with a butter, the zombies, nothing can break that animation. Quick saving and quick loading only delays the inevitable. I used cheats to see if it was even possible to destroy the glass with any weapon, or to see if you could destroy the glass on the outside, for you can actually grenade jump over here. There is nothing we can do. No theories, no practice. The only thing we can do is hit F to pay our respects to these boys. In the next room is another scientist hanging by himself. Leave that Glock for that scientist and keep him near Otis, because we all know that he'll escape Black Mesa and become a grizzled veteran by the time of Half-Life 2. Now, the next guy, using the JoJo trick, I've proved that definitively this guy will die of a heart attack for no reason. All you can do is avenge him, and to leave his MP5 for Otis. he'll add it to his arsenal. Making a way up, you can actually see your boys pulling out. Go talk to the beret meme. He mentioned something about a free man? Hey, I imagine he actually tells you what your orders were. And whilst you're making your way out, you see another scientist, Chad, with one of your brothers in arms. If you have to choose between what's in the interest of the American people or the American government, then it's not a choice at all. Semper Fi, Marine. Come here, mate. We're getting you out. Okay. For the purpose of this video, I won't do that. We'll save everyone. However, I will be talking about this at the end of the video and why you should turn on the military. Within this chapter, there are 20 casualties, 1 survivor, and 3 people we can save. Among the casualties are 6 Marines, 12 scientists, and 2 security officers. The 1 survivor is a scientist. And in this chapter we can save 2 Marines and 1 scientist. When you come through this area, there's nothing you can do here. This is a unique animation for the Marine. We can't go around the trigger, so there's no way to delay him from bleeding out. Moving ahead, we can save this scientist here. Now, he's stuck in cover. The pit drones won't attack him, but considering he stands no chance, yeah, he will need our assistance. And there's not really any guns you can leave for him. We can leave this rocket launcher, which I guess I will, because we get one later. So yeah, just leave that and move on. You make your way through an office complex, and it's actually kind of sad, because you see a ton of people were holed up here, as they were making barricades among barricades. Some were hiding away, or trying to set up a defensive position. I always find this so somber. It is basic environmental storytelling, but I'm a sucker for it. Speaking of, this guy, technically, his animation can be interrupted. Just chuck a nade here and walk around the corner and he gets up. However, considering he was dead, and if you actually just stand near him, you start to die. I'll consider him dead anyway, but that's something you can do. Moving on, you actually run into the final survivor. I don't think he'll have the upper body strength to pull himself out, but he can go up the ladder and reach this barricade. So break this part of it so that he'll be able to shimmy through. There aren't really any guns to leave around, but make sure to leave this health behind. Now these 2 Marines, I consider them saved, for they'll throw themselves into fire in the next chapter. Within this chapter, there are 14 casualties, 1 survivor, and 3 people you can save. Breaking it down, on the casualty list, there are 6 Marines, 4 scientists, and 4 security officers. Both the 1 survivor and the 3 people we can save are all Marines. Going from where we left off, keep the 2 Marines in the elevator and draw the fire at the enemy. Take out everything. Once you've cleared this room, get the engineer to break through this door. There's some ammo here, sure, just make sure to leave a gun for the scientist below, but what we're really looking for is this. If you jump up here and jump on the window, there's someone here who could be saved, but only through cheats. And what's supposed to happen is when you go past this line, he's scripted to be thrown through the window. Even if you kill the Vortigaunts in there with grenades, it does nothing. You literally cannot get around the windows. You can't jump over the trigger, even if you're standing on your mate's head. Even if you move the scientist with a grenade, or try to get the Marines to unlock the door, he'll still be thrown through. And when the animation starts, you can't stop time, or attempt to block him from going or falling like the other animations in Half-Life. My theory was, if you could get the door open, you could scare him through with a grenade, then take him down the elevator, leave him in a group with the other scientist, then come back through here, and he wouldn't trigger the animation because he's in another part of the map. Unfortunately, all we can do is just mourn, again, for another scientist we just can't save. Shepard had a hard life. Finish clearing out the area and bring the 2 Marines to this point. If you've done it right, then they wouldn't have been hit once and they would still have full health. I do imagine they'll climb after you, but for now, we'll just leave them here. Move forward and rendezvous with the medic. Move ahead and do the Fortnite gritty on the glowies. Find the engineer, bring the medic, save him, and once he's finished cutting the door, just push him like this. Move up to the next two and bring them back out of harm's way. Deal with the female Black Ops.
A girl!
These guys were talking about finding a tram to see if they can get to the extraction point at Lambda. Grab the tram, but bring it back for the team. We don't need to worry, we can move ahead without it, by staying to the sides. You can either bring them all to this tram, or, what I did, is bring them all to the hole. Because the boys do love a hole. Because if you look straight down, the other two guys are down there. And knowing the Marines can climb ropes and set them up, I imagine they'll find a way to get these two up to join them. Then, as a team, they'll all move to the tram and try to find their way to the last extraction point. This is a short chapter. There are 3 casualties and 1 person you can save. Casualty-wise, there is 1 scientist, 1 security officer, and 1 member of the survey team. And the 1 person you can save is a scientist. Right as you start, you hear Freeman going wild in the next room. And in this room, the scientist up here actually runs off. If you open the door and hide, he'll die. But if you just simply walk in, the Zen controllers clearly identify you as the biggest threat in the room, allowing him to run off. Make sure to fully walk around just so you get them all. And on top of this, there is a dead security officer in here. However, considering how in the original Half-Life, there's no one here, and thereby I declare this guard as actually not being canon. And speaking of, this is actually the last time in opposing force we fight any of the Zen's forces. Not the flora and fauna, seen through the headcrabs and zombies, but the last of the actual ground troops, showing that Nihiliath is throwing all of his forces at Freeman. While we're in Zen, you see this mate of ours who falls in, and technically in theory you can save him by standing underneath. You'll break his fall, but he'll break you, even if you have full armor and health. However, what you can do is quick save and quick load at the right time, and he'll kinda just be falling here. Although if you interact with him, he dies. And considering he fell from a height that would kill even Gordon Freeman, unfortunately I'll still count him as dead, canonically. Within this chapter, there are 22 casualties and 2 people we can save. Among the casualties, there are 5 Marines, 14 scientists, and 3 members of the survey team. For the people we can save, one of them is a scientist and the other is a security officer. Yeah, from this point forward, we get the teleporter gun, which for every section of the map you're in, it will teleport you to a place randomly in Zen. Now, a lot of these rooms are repeated. It's clearly these are just recycled. However, for every room we go into, there's always new ammo, as if to imply we're somewhere new in Zen. For every new room, I will consider these bodies as unique, and I will add them to the list accordingly. Having said that, the first person we can save is here. Simply hit the button, bring him back through. The only thing to note is do not make him try to activate the second door. He'll die. Simply have him wait to the side and easy. However, we're not done. Once we've cleared out the area, especially the leeches, right above you, in where you're supposed to go, there is actually an alive security officer surrounded by 4 pit bulls. Once you move past this exact line, they'll start shooting and the 4 of them will kill him in seconds. Inch right to this line, and then use the teleporter gun to shoot on the right side. After about 2 shots, you'll kill one of the beasts. You can't shoot the other end, for you'll just hurt the officer. For the rest of them, you'll have to do this the hard way. Now what you need to do is to kill the 3 remaining beasts, and then to kill a 4th one that falls through, and then a 5th one that breaks through here. Through a bit of testing, we managed to clutch this as well. Lay back for a moment and appreciate the work. We'll link these two up into a group and leave the medical supplies for the officer and the Glock for the scientist. It seems their best way out would be through the elevator, or further through the labs, which we'll go through and clear out now. Such as the first shark here. Use the same trick as before. Unfortunately, this is the one room in the game with enemies we can't kill. Regardless, push on and clear a path. Remove 2 more sharks that are in the way. Within this chapter, there are 19 casualties, and 1 person you can save. Casualty-wise, there are 3 Marines, 10 scientists, 1 security officer, and 5 members of the survey team. The 1 man we can save is a scientist. So once we start in the mission, you could use a teleporter gun, but I'd hold off for now. Push through this area and clear everything out. Push through until you get to the first dome, and make sure you've cleared out everything, including this weird purple meme dog. Once we've done that, use the teleporter gun, and you'll see.
Rescued at last, thank God you're here.
That's right, there's a survivor in Zen, and what's even better is you can actually save him. He's safe now, but you won't actually see him in the game, for he'll teleport somewhere in Black Mesa. All we can do is hope and pray that he was sent somewhere safe. Continue heading through and keep killing all of the alien scum, especially the ones locked up. With the situation this bad, leave nothing to chance. Make sure to go back through though and unlock every single door that you can. Be mindful and try to leave some guns and health around. You never know. There is nothing but 13 casualties on this level, 8 of them Marines, 2 scientists, 2 security officers and 1 member of the survey team. That survey team member is actually Gina Cross. This is the level where she shows up, the first and only canonical death of a playable character. Speaking of, I must mention, as I said before, some of these rooms are recycled, and so is this one too. So technically, we see her dead 3 different times in 3 different rooms. As I said before, considering there's always new supplies in these rooms, and that realistically, people don't actually explore them all in their first playthrough, I will consider these 2 deaths as random members of the survey team instead. Death. Just like the original Blast Pit level, this place has just as much death. Regardless, there's nothing to celebrate. The only thing we can do is our duty, and remove whatever that blight is from the earth. Within this chapter, there are 5 casualties, 3 survivors, and 5 people we can save. Breaking it down with the casualties, there is 1 scientist and 4 members of the survey team. Both the survivors and the people we can save are all Marines. I think it's about time to talk about the elephant in the room. The 40 megaton elephant. The kind you'd build a town around, because anyway, I believe it is roughly by this time, this chapter, Foxtrot Uniform, is the point of no return. The only exception is that maybe if you're on the edge of the facility or you're already leaving, you might make it, but I feel from this point forward, it may be too late. Although, you do have to keep in mind this nuke is being used by the US government within its own country. It only needs to take out the facility, not the entire state of New Mexico. Going off of that, moving forward, you meet a bunch of Marines here. Given enough time, the Black Ops will assault these guys, so just move ahead and deal with them. And move them forward to this warehouse. It's closer to the dam. It gives them a fighting chance. For everyone's sake, completely clear out the underground. Use all your ammo. I hope you saved up the ammo for the alien Reifu gun. Make short work of these things.
I killed them. I killed them all. But the women. And the children, too. I hate them!
These 3, leave them here. Move ahead, clear everything. Then grab him and move him closer to the dam. Once you go through, you see this Marine having the gritty done on him. No worries, we can actually save him. Activate our stand and manipulate time, move forward. Chuck a grenade and the Marine will run off to safety. Scooch past, activate the bomb, and deal with the A-Lamaus. And done, the dam's clear. Bring these two guys to the edge, and bring this guy about halfway. Bring the rest to the door, and for some reason they refuse to come out, but it doesn't matter. This entire squad is together, and honestly I'm not sure what they'll do, but maybe they've got some sort of plan, but if they start running they might just make it. Maybe? Now, within this chapter, there is something extremely interesting that is both fitting, unique, and cool. But first, there are 11 casualties, 2 survivors and 3 people we can save. Among the casualties, there are 6 Marines, 1 scientist, and 4 members of the survey team. The survivors are both security officers, and finally, we can save 2 Marines and 1 scientist. Starting off, we run into the Marines. They'll run in all gung-ho style. So run ahead, use the sniper, clear out the area, and move them behind the hill. Hop on the machine gun, deal with the boys behind you, and easy. Now, for an important reason you'll see shortly, we can't bring these guys with us. Besides, we're running towards the nuke, not away. So leave these 2 with the turret on this defensive position on this hill. Leave the medical supplies. It's not much, but at least they'll hold out until the very end. Now, before moving ahead, this is critically important. This is the second time you must use the portal gun. Now, this is where you can save the last scientist, and unfortunately, due to perfect Randy Pitchford coding, he won't come through the portal here. Obviously, I imagine lore-wise, he uses it to get out. But even in practicality, we created this portal, so he'll be able to head out in any time he wants. The real question is, will he survive Black Mesa? If he teleports where we are, no chance, but he won't. He'll get teleported God knows where. If he's lucky, he'll be flung outside the state, or somewhere outside the facility. If he's unlucky, he'll be flung to the outskirts or the heart of the facility. Go through and move ahead. After clearing out the area, stand in front of this door, and while the mortar fires at you, take him out with a sniper. This will be key in a moment. Move forward, activate the radio. However, there is nothing you can do for our boys. They're hard-coded to die. Push through to the mortar, and once you get up here, normally you see these 2 Vortigons and they teleport up to attack you. However, if you quickly move ahead, tap the mortar once, then fire, but immediately jump off the building. The wall will be broken, which you gotta deal with those things first. Then once you're done, go greet the first free Vortigons. Now, this may be a glitch, but I kinda think it's not. And keep in mind, this is actually after the death of Nihilith. They aren't under his control anymore. They're free. So it kinda makes sense they don't shoot you. They won't move, but they'll obviously teleport out of here before the nuke goes off. Perhaps in some weird world, these might be the 2 playable Vortigons from Decay. I mean, that level does take place where the nuke truck is, and that literally is in the next area up ahead, so yeah. Regardless, push forward, take down the air support, and any other resistance being put up by Race X and the Black Ops. There's nothing you can do for this officer, besides wishing him well. However, the next guard, well, he asks you to disable the nuke. It is clear that these 2 will not make it out, knowing they're literally right next to the nuke. So, instead, we're gonna buy more time for any stragglers to get out. After you deactivate the nuke, grab the officer and you can actually bring him to the nuke. Squeeze him through this gate. You can bring him right next to the truck. Or if you think he's in any danger from G-Man, you can hide him around the corner. But when G-Man goes to reactivate the nuke, well, the guard's right there. So when G-Man leaves, the guard can deactivate the nuke again. This will only deactivate it temporarily. However, the security officer will lay down his life to hold off the Black Ops for as long as he can, and buy even a few extra minutes for Black Mesa. even in its dying hour, this shows the tenacity and the fierce resistance put up by the brave people of Black Mesa. Within this chapter, there is one casualty and one survivor. The casualty being a member of the survey team and the survivor being a security officer. There's not much to mention here, besides one critical thing. Obviously, clear everything out. Less to save people, and more to make sure no one else makes it out of Black Mesa. Especially Race X. After this, with the death of the gene worm, they get pushed back to their world, and most likely get wiped out by the Combine, when they eventually come through. When you see the security officer, there's nothing we can do to help him, but...
Guess you're a good guy, Corporal.
Corporal?
Good luck, Corporal.
Corporal? He knows who you are. Do you know what this means? It means through word of mouth, going through the facility, helping people, clearing out the way, leads to this. You have to remember, there's no radios or phones, so this man found out about you, about Corporal Shepard, through nothing but word of mouth from other survivors. Regardless, it's time to go down the elevator and face your destiny. In total, what we see from Shepard's eyes is this. There are 149 casualties, 29 survivors, and there are 20 people we can save. Breaking it down, casualty-wise, there are 64 Marines, 50 scientists, 16 security officers, and 19 members of the survey team. One of them being Gina Cross. Among the survivors are 15 Marines, 8 scientists, and 6 security officers. Finally, with the people you can save, 12 of them are Marines, 6 are scientists, and 2 are security personnel. And technically, you can also save 2 freed Vortigaunts by simply choosing not to fight. I will of course be separating them because these are quite literally opposing forces. This room shows all the Marines who you save, and this includes all the survivors. In total, 29. I feel that at least possibly 10 of them would perish from the nuke. And in this room, it shows all the Black Mesa personnel we can save. And it's not a lot, I admit, but including all the survivors, it's quite a few people. Totaling up to 22 in total, 14 scientists and 8 security officers. And for here, I know that at least 3 of them would perish from the nuke going off. I feel as if the others have a strong chance of getting out, especially the people within the fortified area at the start, and Otis of course.
Hey, you wouldn't have a quarter I can borrow, would ya?
Alright, now I've actually clickbaited you, because I'm also going to talk about Blue Shift and Decay as well. And in all honesty, yeah, there's hardly anyone you can save. In Decay, you literally can literally only save 2 dudes, 2 security officers. One, because you have to, and the other is in the next mission. You just run ahead and stop the military. Yeah, okay. Quite literally, there is no one else you can save. And there aren't even many allied NPCs to speak of. There are a ton of things to kill in this game though, so Colette and Cross do a fantastic job of clearing house. Regardless, I created a casualty list just for you. This also includes the bonus level, don't worry. There are 60 casualties, 2 survivors, and 2 people you can save. Breaking it down, casualty-wise, there are 40 scientists and 20 security officers. The survivors are 2 scientists, one of them being Keller. The 2 people you can save are security officers and technically yourself. We know the fate of Gina Cross, but we don't see any of these characters again. So it could be assumed that none of these people made it out of Black Mesa. Now, Blue Shift, well, in the base game, you have to save at least 3 scientists. And shockingly, in the entire game, just like Decay, there's only really 3 other people you meet. You meet this one dude who refuses to move, that's fine. And there's nothing you can do for this guy. It's a unique animation, he's, destined to die. I did some testing and this guy, you can't save him. Quick saving, quick loading, not even using the tried and true medical technique of grenades and literally walking out of the room. This guy literally has a single health point. There's nothing you can do. Towards the end of the game, once you pass this line, the two in here die in 18 seconds, while it takes the HECU to break through in about 30 seconds. Even with the quick JoJo trick, you can't really save them either. You can kinda get around, but you have to grenade jump, and even when you get through, it's... yeah, not really, you can't really save them. And like I said with the other guy, this security officer also has 1 HP, so yeah, you're out of luck. However, there is a light in the darkness. These two scientists you meet in the train cars. Well, not only do you save them, but you can bring them with you. Yeah, that's right, you can actually bring him down to the elevator with Dr. Rosenberg. However, because for some reason, because of Randy, again, only one of them can follow you. And the other one just won't follow you. Literally no matter what you do. This is the only way you can bring him through. The reason for this is there's a trigger on this door that acts as a wall for AI. For some reason, it only affects one scientist model and not the other. So practically, I instead left him here with some armor and weapons, but however, let's just imagine, lore-wise, they both follow Barney, because logically, that's what they would do. So you'd bring them both down to the elevator, and once you bring Rosenberg, you all come down to the old labs. And you can just leave him here to hang out as you do your thing. However, unfortunately, once you come back, yeah, this guy disappears because video game. Although I imagine, lore-wise, these two are down here as well, so that by the end of Blue Shift, when you're all escaping through the teleporter, there's actually 5 scientists going through, and then Barney at the very end. It's gonna be pretty cramped in the back though, Lamau.
Get in the car, Morty! Get in the car!
Besides this, the only other thing to really mention when you play Blue Shift next time is that you should kill these 2 Marines here. Just shoot them. Nice. And while you're here, throw a grenade to stun the Marines and throw a satchel to finish them all. And at the very end, stay behind to kill all 7 Marines before making your escape. Make Otis proud. And here's the casualty list for Blue Shift as well. There are 51 casualties, 1 survivor, and 5 people you can save. Breaking that down, among the casualties, there are 19 scientists, 16 security officers, and 16 members of the survey team. That 1 survivor is a scientist, and all 5 people you can save are scientists as well. One thing I want to debunk: the canonicity of these expansions. It's been brought into question many times, and I'm here to settle it once and for all, or at least throw in my 2 cents. 1. We're gonna think like Suitman for a minute. Valve paid Gearbox to create these. They are official and sanctioned by Valve. 2. Technology. Some people have mentioned, why is there a portal gun in Opposing Force when, in Half-Life 1, they needed all this machinery to do the same thing? There's an argument for this. The entire Portal franchise. Okay, no. It has been established that Black Mesa has known of Zen and the alien wildlife for a long time. For years, maybe even decades. It's why there's been 3 other versions of the HEV suit. It's not unreasonable to think that this machinery was built a long time ago, and only recently they were able to make a prototype portal gun. For if Aperture Science can do it, our boys in white can do it as well. Besides, I imagine the machinery allows for precise teleportation, while these seemingly prototype guns roughly just fling you into Zen. 3. Mark Laidlaw wrote it. At least he wrote the nuke. Yeah, that was him, the creator of the Half-Life story and canon. So that definitively settles it for me. A lot of you seem to like my closing thoughts in the previous video, so I'm gonna do it again. But I want to take it a step further. Do let me know in the comments if I'm rambling too much. Regardless, I have always loved the masked soldier aesthetic, so it pains me to do this, but I imagine, I know, that Adrian Shepard canonically turned on the military and stood with Black Mesa. I'll pitch this to you. When Shepard reaches the extraction point, he would in character learn of his true orders to silence the facility and to hunt down the free man. He would see the full depth of this in the next room. Adrian Shepard joined the military for his country, his people. He was a true patriot.
And he was a good friend.
We know in a meta sense, the authorities will finish the job by sending in elite black ops who will kill you with just the same disregard as the military did with Black Mesa. And we know that the Combine will crush humanity and set up a dystopic government, with our only hope being the scientists of Black Mesa. It's not only in the interests of the American people, but for all of humanity in helping them. Opposing force is criticized for having no story. Not anymore. Here's your story. Adrian Shepard has committed himself, body and soul, in staying behind, choosing to go on the path of most resistance, choosing to join Black Mesa in its dying hour, choosing to stay behind, to save as many as he can. This is long after Gordon Freeman has left. His story is finished. Barney left before Adrian even woke up, and Decay finished long before that. One of the playable characters is gone. Shepard stands alone as the last guardian of Black Mesa. To separate himself from the military, he would mark himself with a lambda symbol. It all started here, in this room. As he would find that spray can, Shepard would spray this symbol on his armor and mark his loyalties on his sleeve. The first to don the symbol of the resistance. The first rebel wouldn't be made in City 17. It was forged in the fire of Black Mesa. How would this change the game? Easy. After removing your former brethren, we would help this scientist to the vent we came from. He would easily be able to climb down and link up with Otis. We'll also make sure he brings the MP5 with him. Here, we have to get the engineer to cut the door. Leave the other one and move forward. Get the engineer to cut the second door, then remove him. Go back and silence this Marine so that his gun will fall down for the other scientist to pick up. And that's it. And just go through removing the Marines as you do with the Black Ops, as Gordon would. There's a problem here. The character is still called Corporal Shepard, although in this headcanon we've created, Adrian's gone rogue and changed sides, both literally and symbolically. He has the lambda symbol on his armor to show his loyalties. Makes sense, however, but we need a name for this, I feel. Just like how Gordon was called the One Free Man, we will call Adrian the Good Shepherd. And ironically, Adrian's last name is based off of the famous Bible quote from Pulp Fiction, Ezekiel 25:17. I believe in this light, his name would finally make sense. The military and Zen broke before Black Mesa did, and in its final hours, Adrian would become a part of the Black Mesa family, as he would become its last guardian, as he became the Good Shepherd.